I'd like to inform you that in addition to our panelists seated up here, we have two of them joining us virtually, and that's Anne Kalembe, the MD, Gazelle Safari Company. Anne, are you there?
Yes, I am. It is nice to join you today.
Okay. And we also have another panelist, Juliet Asantewa from Ghana. Juliet, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Nice to be joining you.
Okay, very good. And I'd like to open up our discussion by our panelists introducing themselves and also helping us answer this question. Do you consider the hospitality and creative arts sectors as one of the key missing links in resolving the massive unemployment crisis in Africa? And I'd like to start with our panelists who are virtual. Excuse me, and that's Anne Kalembe.
Nice to join everybody. It is sad that I couldn't be with you in person, but I'm here with you in spirit. Yes, I agree that this is the missing link to unemployment in Africa. I'll just first and foremost tell you that hospitality or the creative arts is not first choice career for most of the Africans or most of the Ugandans, the youths. In most cases, everybody wants to become a lawyer, they want to become a banker, they want to become so many other professions. And then when they fail to get what they are looking for, then they say, okay, maybe I can go and study hospitality. And they already come with a battered spirit, thinking that it is second class or even third class. They do not come because they actually love it. The love grows later. I am yet to hear of a young child who says, oh, I want to become a tour operator when I grow up, or I want to become a hotelier. They are very, very few. And then other people also believe that for you to become a chambermaid or for you to become a chef or become someone in the hospitality industry, you don't need training. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. So they believe we don't need training. They believe we do not need that skill set for us to progress into the hospitality industry. So I believe that also when we try to change the attitude of the young people and tell them, look, this is a good career. You can actually make a lot of money being in the hospitality industry, or you could actually change lives being in the hospitality industry. Can you make it your first choice career? Then we shall have a lot of people get employed into the hospitality sector. If you went out, for example, to most travel agencies and a lot of these hospitality entities, you'll find that some of the people working there, and a good percentage of them, are actually not trained in hospitality. So let us change the attitude of hospitality and the creative arts for people to make them first choice careers, and then we shall solve the problem of unemployment in the African continent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Anne. Juliet, please take on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet everyone. And again, I wish I was there myself as well, but couldn't. So my name is Juliet Santo Asante. I'm the CEO of the National Film Authority of Ghana. And I'm also a filmmaker. I've done this my entire life. And so this is something I'm not only passionate about, but it's something that has actually framed my livelihood. And so I know what the potentials are and how Africa can take advantage of those potentials. I mean, the keynote speaker mentioned a few data points which are intriguing. Obviously, the fact that, the Africa is in a couple of years is going to have the youngest youth population in the world, I think is a matter of significance. And we can see this as an opportunity, or it can be a disadvantage, because obviously, when you have so many young people who are looking for jobs, who do not have jobs but have passions and all that, therein lay the pride that we need to find ways to create jobs for these young populations. And if you think about the creative sector, and I will sometimes dovetail into film audio or the audiovisual sector, I would think about it as a very low hanging fruit. Some of the previous speakers, some words that jumped out at me in previous talks were words like the liability of smallness, the common sense approach. And then there was a previous speaker who just even mentioned that the bottom of the pyramid is where life is. And so, if you then begin to think through those phrases and what it could mean to us, you're seeing youth populations, and then you can bring other data points like the penetration of mobile phones, the usage of internet, which we were referring to fintechs and all that. But then that's an opportunity. Is the screen. We mentioned, someone mentioned Netflix and all the platforms that are coming into Africa. They are coming for a reason. They're coming because we have a youth population. We have a population that, potentially can be a very high earning and high achieving and activity population. Whereas when you go to the rest of the world, those populations may be decreasing. So it's a big advantage for us. Now, what are some of the reasons why, some of the numbers we are hearing are happening? Access to phone, whether it be a lot of features or not, smartphones is a tool that you can use for so many things. And so if you take a lot of these creatives that may not have money or may not have access to broadcast and all that, broadcasting networks and all that, they may have phones that they can now use to develop content that you can put online and you can monetize. So then when you think about it in that way, then you see that the barriers to entry may be low. And little things like, the cost of these things coming down. And even if you take camera, for instance, you focus on film, you take the cameras, for instance, they're cheaper cameras. So I, as a young person, then I can easily buy a very cheap camera. I can begin to produce content, even if I do not have the skill. Is I can train myself on YouTube videos, and then I can monetize my content. And so the barriers to entry then is relatively low. And especially when you are looking to create content for mass markets, then you begin to look at opportunities that have low barriers to entry. Now, some of the things that are clearly to our advantage as well are, I've already mentioned the population and all. I've also mentioned in somehow inferred but not clearly, our educational levels are not so bad. And so if you look at the usage, if I even zero down on Ghana, and sometimes when we mention the creative sector, we are narrowed, or our mindset is narrowed. But if you even come to the film sector and the audiovisual sector, and you talk about film, then you may want to talk about things like animation as well. You may want to talk about things like esports and the development and all those things. And if you look at the numbers of esports, how quickly esports is growing across the world, how quickly animation is growing across the world, and you just oppose that to a population that doesn't even have content that is representative. And so if we are talking about content, we are not talking about content even that we are creating for the rest of the world, but you talk about over 1 billion people that in real terms do not have content that looks like them. So what percentage of African children, for instance, are watching television on a normal basis, but are seeing no character that looks like them? What population of the African population is playing esports or looking at animation that doesn't look like them? What opportunities are in there for us to begin to even create content for that population? And so if I'm a filmmaker, or I'm a audiovisual person, or I create content, and even I can get access to some of these low equipment, technical equipment, and I can produce content for this 1 billion people or average people, number of people, then you begin to see opportunities. Ghana in 2020 spent over $62 million on esports, on online games alone. And this is money that is going out of the country, not coming in. If we even look at, again, talking about low-hanging fruits, if we even position ourselves to be an enabler, so move out of the African continent, go international, we have great locations, we have great weather. One film outside of one film can be as much as $150 million. So you go to the cinema, you have all these cinemas, and they're showing films that are not produced for Africans and not produced by Africans and within Africa. Let's change the dynamics, for instance, and begin to attract foreign productions to happen here. So if a film with a budget of say $150 million came to produce in Ghana or Nigeria or Uganda or wherever, that's money that stays, right? That's foreign direct investment that stays. That's money that employs. That is money and opportunity that also brings skill set. And so you would see that young Ugandan that is working on that production, by the time the production is over, they have skill sets or they have the training that is required. They have also been paid. The filmmakers that came into the country slept in hotels, they ate food, they did all of that. And so if you look at, even if Uganda doesn't have the capacity to do post-production, but just productions happen within that country, then you're looking at, say, 60 to 70% of the $150 million staying within Uganda or staying within any African country that production happened. And so you look at countries like Morocco and South Africa and what they've done to kind of attract foreign productions within their countries, then you begin to understand how to improve skill sets, but also impact other industries as well. A good example would be how,
Juliet,
for instance, the
please
creative sector,
wrap up in 1 minute.
Right.
Kindly wrap up in 1 minute.
Would be, yes, I can. A good example would be how, for instance, the shooting of films in, say, Scotland, there's this particular film, Braveheart, how the shot of Braveheart shot tourism numbers by over 300% in just 1 year. And so, I mean, I'll wrap up to just say that for me, when I look at this, I see this as a very low-hanging fruit. I see it as opportunities that shouldn't be pushed to the periphery, because there's opportunity here for African countries to scale up and create the kind of jobs that we need. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juliet. Let's move on to Apollo. From the private sector foundation perspective, now that you're venturing into creative arts under the Young Africa Works program, how are you looking at utilizing creative arts as the missing link and creating job opportunities for the youth?
Okay, so thank you very much. From Private Sector Foundation Uganda, first of all, we are fortunate to be working in partnership with MasterCard Foundation, and we together have the task to open up at least 300,000 new work opportunities for young people over the next 3 years in about 5 key sectors. And that includes agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, construction, and then trade and allied services. Within the trade and allied services sector is where we have the creatives sector in there. Now, for us, it means a lot because we now know that our initial focus on those 5 sectors that I've just mentioned is not enough. We cannot work under the assumption that every young person in our country is going to earn a living by becoming a farmer, or by perhaps getting into tourism, or by becoming an engineer. Uganda has a number of young people that are so talented, they are so gifted, they can think on their feet, they can think with their fingers. And I'd like to draw your attention to the team that has been working with us throughout this session, that is right at the back. When you look at the team that is at the back, all that, none of those young people at the back is probably beyond the age of 40. But they have in so many ways driven a lot of traffic and attention to this meeting that is taking place here. They are actually at the heart of driving this entire meeting that we're having here. Because perhaps because they are content developers, they are videographers, they are light technicians, or they know how to work the internet to bring us traffic. And so when we hit that realization, we now refocused our attention to the creative sector. Because we know the creative sector is made up of a host of opportunities, from the film industry, music, visual arts, content developers. And so we know now that young people can get a host of job opportunities, either as script writers, as songwriters, as publishers, as composers, as producers, as performers, as broadcasters, as actors or actresses. Do you want me to continue? It is amazing. And we have locked this world away from young people. And it's about time that we wake up to the realization that their creative sector could be and is the missing link to fixing the unemployment problem or situation in our country. In Nigeria alone, in 2021, the statistics show that Nollywood alone employed at least 300,000 people and contributed in 2020, the projections were that Nollywood alone would contribute at least $1 billion to the GDP of Nigeria. So where are we as a country? From the statistics I have, at least in 2014, the contribution from creatives, goods and services combined was $6.7 million. Why are we at that position? Because we have not taken the trouble to accept the fact that the creatives are a force to reckon with. And if we do not wake up to that realization, we will have wasted a number of work opportunities. So what do we need to do, at least from the side of Private Sector Foundation? First is to just get a very good understanding of the industry, the entire value chain of actors. Number two, understand the fact that right now the creative industry is largely powered by the ICT sector. The way I used to buy movies growing up as a child, going to a video store, it no longer works like that. A young person will get on phone, download a movie that has just been released an hour back from the US. And then whoever is behind that would be raking in millions of dollars. So we will be working with the engines that are driving growth in the creative sector. It could be a Netflix of sorts. It could be Afromobile. Perhaps Afromobile is the next Netflix of Uganda. We don't know. But we also know that within the music industry, there are other managers. I'll talk about Swang's Avenue, because we know Swang's Avenue has started an apprenticeship program for creatives. We know that an artist in our country that goes through the hands of a manager is totally different from an artist that has hit the scene on their own. They just went to the scene dry. So we will work with these managers or talent managers for music and film, leverage the ICT platforms like Netflix, Afromobile, Feza, the Feza platform for music, to see how many more artists can come under this banner, to drive local content in our country, ensure that we have legislation in our country that pushes broadcasters, whether it is radio or TV, to take up more local content from the current, I think it's about 30% to above 50%. Because we know the desire and demand for local content in our country is on an upswing, not to even mention East Africa. So for us, from a PSFU perspective, we see a lot of scope for growth, and we know that the creative sector is the missing link to solve the unemployment problem in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Apollo. We'll move on to Jane. Given your experience in the hospitality sector and Sheraton Kampala being one of the best hotels in Uganda, how best can we rethink and innovate the hospitality sector in order to solve the problem of youth unemployment?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here so late and to hear about hospitality, tourism, this industry that is fascinating. I've been in for more than 30 years, and when I think back on my past career, and I don't see what I could have done differently. I want to join a little bit what Anne Kalembe was saying. Is it true that hospitality might not be the first choice of a young person? I remember when I was young, I was born and grew up in Brazil. And I remember in the 80s, parents that were investing in the education of their kids didn't think about hospitality. There was not many schools where we could learn hospitality, so the choices were to be, as she said, a lawyer, an engineer, a doctor, architect, technology. IT was starting, so I remember some colleagues in the school, oh, I want to go for IT. What is that? Hospitality was definitely not. My father pushed me to prepare exams to be an engineer, to go for an engineering school, and I did it, but I wasn't really happy. Because I have a need of doing something that has to do with maybe my personality, my background. I wanted to work with people. I wanted to be in contact with people, and it's a pillar in hospitality. You need to love people. You need to like to service, to help, to assist. Where do we learn this? I don't know exactly. We in hospitality, I would say, we buy is attitude. We can have, yes, we provide a lot of jobs. We can have a lot of people for maybe a temporary period of their life. But if you want to continue in this career, it's about developing certain skills, of course. But you need to have the attitude. You need to be someone who like people, who want to service people, who want to create experience for people. That's what makes the difference. Today, when we are talking about Uganda as a key destination, and I think that you might have seen the beautiful campaign that was launched, Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, we are not talking about tourists, we are talking about travelers. We are talking about people that come to this country and wants to experience the culture, want to meet with the local people, want to stay longer time, not just 3, 4, 5 days, 1 week, and then they want they will come back. It's an experience of life that will create memories, emotions that might make that person first a potential marketeer for the destination and someone who will return. So the new campaign is very beautiful because it really creates that feeling. It's not only about seeing the gorillas or going to the different parks, but it's also discovering more about the different cultures present in so rich culture in this country, discovering, being in contact with people, exchanging with them, and what do you take back with you for your life and what you give back to. Today in the industry, we need people from different areas. As you see, we have all these nice young people there behind. We need this. I mean, they didn't study hospitality, I'm sure, but they are very good technicians. And for us, hotelier, to provide the experience that our clients are expecting, we need to have all these excellent professionals. I need to have excellent chefs to prepare the best foods, so the creativity has to be there. It's very important. It's not only cooking every day the same thing. Some chefs, they are You give them a recipe, they will do the same thing. But the creativity is when one reinterpret a recipe and do it in a totally different way. Let's see, the matoke that people like so much here can be done in different ways, and that creates a wow factor or an emotion or an interest from different people. So creativity in our industry, it's more and more important. The technology component, of course. We have the new generations, they expect to find technology. Sometimes they prefer relating with the hotel through their applications rather than being in direct contact with people. And this is a trend that is being more and more present. Our hotel companies are pushing more and more for digital solutions, but that will never replace the human contact, the human side. And I'm sure that even in 50, 100 years, still when someone will go to a restaurant or a bar, he wants to meet some people, he wants to taste very good meals and a very nice cocktail. So our industry, again, it's very particular. It requires a lot of general knowledge. I started in this career and I was studying at the same time. I got to a point, I need to learn a little bit more about business. So I went and I did a business school who gave me the background to understand how the business of a hotel run. But I am surrounded by people that have different specialities. I have people from human resources, I have people from digital marketing, people specialized in sales and distribution. I have chefs, I have the food and beverage people, I have the IT people. So we, in hospitality, it's an industry we touch a little bit of everything. The finance, without forgetting the finance. So we touch a little bit of each discipline, and it's key for that business to develop. So one thing that definitely I feel is missing in Uganda is some specialized schools, trainings, and the educational. We recruit young people, or we take trainees, and we are the ones who develop the skills that they have, because the backgrounds, whichever they have studied, it's still very, very raw. So my conclusion is that today they might go to some schools and go to a certain curriculum, but they don't know about what hospitality is about. So there is a big gap. There is an opportunity, I would say, in Uganda, when we talk about developing tourism, developing hospitality, to create certain institutions, probably with the partnerships with international schools, international programs that would be very important for this development. Because definitely Uganda it's a key destination in Eastern Africa for tourism, and it employs a lot of people, and we need to get prepared. It's very important, because the future is tomorrow. We are reopening the economy after 2 difficult years. I can see the demand coming. I can see the interest for organizing events, organizing different sort of activities. Very soon, everything that has to do with big shows, bringing all these artists that Stephen he mentioned here. Burna Boy, he mentioned, I remember, Burna Boy did a show here at the Gardens, and he's a very famous guy, actually. So we are going back to what we left behind 2 years ago, just building up. Uganda is a key destination, I can say. Kampala, it's a destination for nightlife, for culture, for shows, for sports. we need to get ready for that and position ourselves.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jean.
By Nation is your go-to website for exclusive content with in-depth stories, analysis, and detailed coverage. Sign up with these quick and easy steps. Visit www.monitor.co.ug. Sign up for free for a limited period of time with either Facebook or Google. Or you can enter your email address, password, followed by your phone number. Click Sign Up. You are now a registered user. Your privacy will be protected when you share information with us. This registration is part of our effort to understand our audiences and make better business decisions to serve you better. For any queries, please contact us on 0312 301 230 or email us at customercareug@ug.nationmedia.com. Monitor, powered by Nation. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Nobel.
Internet is not only important, but is part of us now. We use it in our studies, at work, home, and while going about our daily errands. However, an inconsistent internet connection is common and can be frustrating. But the good news is, we are here to the rescue. At Rock Telecom, we strive to promote integrity, dependability, innovation, customer service, and open-mindedness. Visit our website www.rocktelecom.co.ug for more information. Rock Telecom. Rock Telecom is licensed by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
So we pick travelers, our typical customers are people flying in and out of the country. So we pick those from the airport to wherever they're going and back. And we do this through a network of driver partners for whom we give regular business and improve livelihoods. They can book through WhatsApp, they can call us, they can email us. You know, we just try to make it as simple and convenient, as seamless as possible for our customers.
What is creating shared value all about? CSV is short for Creating Shared Value. It is a powerful business management concept that can promote companies to think differently about their approach to social and environmental issues. It is a strategy for addressing society's challenges through profitable business models. It's all about policies and practices that enhance the competitiveness of companies while improving social and environmental conditions in the regions in which they operate. CSV is not CSR. Creating shared value goes beyond philanthropy